Members of the House of Delegates, it is my pleasure to introduce our current President-elect of the California Medical Association, Dr. David Aizuss.
I think it's a speaker's dream to follow an economist and an antitrust lawyer. Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Dr. Aizuss.
Madam Vice Speaker, Mr. President, fellow officers, delegates, staff, guests. Thank you so much for the honor of serving as the 151st President of the California Medical Association. I am grateful for the opportunity to be the president of this outstanding organization. In reality, the CMA is ably led by our Chief Executive Officer, Dustin Corcoran, and his senior vice presidents, including our CFO, Lance Lewis, General Counsel, Francisco Silva, Senior Vice President for Advocacy, Janice Norman, and Senior Vice President of Executive Management, Alicia Sanchez, and their incredibly dedicated staff members. I am particularly grateful for the love and support of my wife, Felicia, who has tolerated my absences for meetings and for conference calls during my past 7 years as a member of the CMA Executive Committee. I am grateful for my truly amazing daughters, Amanda and Julia, who've kindly denied being impacted by my frequent absences and have succeeded in high school, college, and beyond in their own nascent professional careers. I am extraordinarily appreciative of my practice partners who are here today, Drs. Peter Zegan, Brad Elkins, Mark Kramer, and Stan Solney, for covering for my previous and future absences, understanding the importance of the work of the California Medical Association while ensuring the continuity of care of our patients. I am particularly inspired by the ongoing mentorship of prior CMA presidents, particularly Jim Hinsdale, who pushed me to run for vice chair of the board very early and helped keep me centered on the one goal that he espoused, that our organization must work to make the practice of medicine better for our fellow physicians, enabling them to provide the best possible care for their patients. And of course, I am thankful for the support of the Los Angeles County Medical Association and proud to be the first CMA president from LACMA in nearly 20 years. Hopefully, we will not see a gap like that again with the excellent future leaders that LACMA is nurturing. So I want to discuss 3 themes today to set the groundwork for where our organization is going over the next year and where it needs to continue over the next few years. First and foremost is in the area of physician satisfaction and practice sustainability. Physician practices are under continuing assault by the government, insurance plans, hospital organizations, and even venture capital firms that see profit potential in purchasing, aggregating, and reselling practices, while profiting off the labor of physicians but contributing little or nothing to improving the care of our patients. Heavy administrative demands and emerging payment systems have forced physicians to spend increasing amounts of time on computer work at the expense of patient care. And this leads to further physician dissatisfaction and burnout. As a result, care is often delegated to non-physicians. Patients are confused about the differences between various types of healthcare providers and often mistakenly believe that they are meeting with physicians when they are not. Patients deserve to know who is providing their health care, exactly what their healthcare providers are qualified and licensed to do, and who is a physician and who is not. Who is a medical doctor versus who is a nurse or nurse practitioner, an optometrist, a PA, or psychologist. Physician frustration with electronic health records undermines the physician-patient relationship and negatively alters patient-physician interactions. Jim Madera, the CEO of the American Medical Association, points out that American physicians have become the most expensive data entry workforce on the face of the planet. What a waste. How frustrating. The Medscape National Physician Burnout and Depression Study shows that 42% of physicians report burnout. Thank goodness, my specialty was among the lowest at only 33% of ophthalmologists reporting burnout. But the rate was 47% for internists and OB-GYNs and 45% for ER physicians and radiologists. A recent editorial in JAMA noted that while there is clearly something important and worrisome happening to physician well-being, we don't have a clear understanding of the definition, etiology, or true prevalence of the problem. With 25% of physicians expected to retire over the next 10 years, while the number of older Americans requiring health care is expected to double by 2040, there is a projected shortage of 100,000 physicians by 2030. This pressure will result in yet more burnout impacting physicians and their patients. CMA recognizes the urgent need for additional programming to mitigate physician burnout, and following extensive due diligence, we have partnered with Tate Shanafelt to launch innovative wellness programs which will be available to students, residents, and practicing physicians in all modes of practice to address this severe ongoing problem. Physicians may sometimes feel disillusioned and distant from their patients and work and push themselves to the point that patients, outside controls, and work dominate their lives. Good care includes caring for us, the physicians, and CMA will do that with our new wellness program. The revised declaration of the Hippocratic Oath adopted in October 2017 by the World Medical Association recognizes the importance of physician well-being with these words: "I will attend to my own health, well-being, and abilities in order to provide care of the highest standard." The AMA has clearly laid out the need for dependable, affordable technologies that will reduce physician time spent on electronic record documentation, avert the cost of scribes, help improve our work-life balance, and allow us more time for patient care. We expect over the next few years to see computer software programs and systems that improve workflow, provide clinical decision support, collect and analyze data, and increase compliance with recommended treatment regimens while promoting improved communications with patients and other physicians. Such software, along with artificial or augmented intelligence devices that allow for automated note-taking and digital tools which can distill the vast amounts of data being generated into actionable information for physicians, cannot come soon enough, and physicians need to be involved in their development and their implementation. Legislative and regulatory changes continue to impact medical practice. Payers use results of quality measurements to determine payment rates and other contractual terms affecting physicians, despite the fact that the accuracy or relevance of these measures to the true quality of patient care have never been demonstrated. The shift in the delivery model from volume of care to value will change how risk and accountability are distributed across the healthcare ecosystem. There continues to be a major push for value-based care by Congress and away from fee-for-service. Yet we care for individual patients, and we seek excellence in individuals' outcomes and results. Societal value is not defined by individual patient outcomes, but rather by population results. However, if you ask an individual patient if they received good care, they value their care based on their personal results, not population standards. My patients know value when they come to me with pain in their eye and I remove a foreign body from under their eyelid. They know value when I take them from blurry vision due to a cataract one day to 20/20 uncorrected vision the next, because of the miracle of modern cataract surgery. That is how patients measure value. Physician report cards affect the image of physicians, and as physicians, we are increasingly frustrated trying to stay apprised of the diverse number of metrics and methods employed by payers in their quality improvement programs. Along with this, neither policymakers nor physicians should underestimate the influence of physician rating websites on our practice of medicine, as patients use these inaccurate and often inflammatory tools both to rate their doctors and to choose who they should see as patients. The payment to physicians for individual services provided, that is fee-for-service, so often regarded as one of the healthcare system's fundamental flaws and as the main driver of healthcare spending via misaligned incentives that leads to overuse and thus the phrase payment for volume instead of value may not be so. Recent data on ACOs which were designed to achieve cost savings based on value instead of volume have demonstrated this is actually not working. As physicians, we know it is so much more complicated. Even that guy in the White House said, "Who knew healthcare was so complicated?" So we need organizations like the CMA and the AMA to prevent the adoption of flawed legislative and regulatory solutions that often just further complicate the delivery of high quality and efficient care to our patients. You know, physicians understand the value of evidence-based medicine. It is time for us to insist on evidence-based legislation. As we work with the legislature this year, on programs for access and coverage for all individuals in the state of California, as we pursue policy development at this meeting, we need to recognize the impact of mode of practice on physician-patient relationships. The move to value-based payment models affects both patient expectations and the physician-patient relationship. Young physicians are gravitating toward employed positions due to the financial challenges and uncertainties of private practice, the arduous administrative challenges and reporting duties facing physicians, the uncertainty of MACRA and MIPS, and now the latest CMS proposal for code consolidation, the uncertainty over network inclusion, medical school debt, and consolidation of medical organizations are all forcing younger physicians to seek employment. This is a huge shift in medical care delivery that has major implications in the care of our patients, but also has major implications for this organization. As a result, CMA has devoted significant resources to recruit medium and large groups as physicians move more and more into these groups and away from practice ownership, while we sustain our historic support for independent small practices, as well as representing those in very large practice settings. As you all know, our profession is one of the most highly regulated of all professions. We as physicians must comply with a vast array of laws and requirements imposed by the government and third-party payers. This contributes to the intrusion on an erosion of the doctor-patient relationship. It causes a perception of the decline of our profession by some physicians, not to mention impacting physician satisfaction. The presence of third parties in clinical decision-making is corrosive to our relationship with our patients. We need the California Medical Association as well as the American Medical Association to enable us to fight these intrusions and continue to protect our professional status. Everyone is telling our doctors what to do. Government agencies, insurance companies, big hospitals, big pharma. Patients pay more and get less, except they do get more denials, more fine print, more runarounds, and more bills for services that should be covered, but for some carrier or pharmacy benefit manager who capriciously decides that they should not. This is the world we live in, and this is the battle that we must fight. We are in a war to protect both our patients and our professional prerogatives, independence, and authority. After that charge, the second theme I want to review is in the area of diversity and inclusion. As board chair, I appointed a diversity and inclusion TAC in response to a resolution authored by the Young Physicians section. Under the leadership first of Dr. Eric Eiding and then Dr. Donaldo Hernandez, as well as our General Counsel, Francisco Silva, the board has received a series of reports and adopted actions to promote diversity and inclusion in our leadership but more importantly, to promote diversity and inclusion as a sustaining goal of this organization, including our county medical societies, which are the wellsprings of CMA leadership. This is critical as CMA, along with Physicians for a Healthy California, works to improve health outcomes in our state. Whether it is working with other organizations on population health management and chronic disease, ensuring access for the underinsured and uninsured, or addressing ethnic disparities and the social determinants of health, diversity and inclusion in our organization is critical in broadening our thinking and our approach to these important issues. We must work to prepare and recruit members of racial and ethnic minorities and the LGBTQ communities to enter medical schools, become physicians, and enter into the leadership of our medical organizations so that the physician population will better reflect the overall population. So the California Medical Association will continue to make diversity and inclusion in our physician leadership at all levels of organized medicine a priority issue. Finally, I want to address the CMA brand. We have spent a great deal of energy this year redoing our website and trying to improve communication vehicles. As Dr. Mazur so ably told us last year, CMA is the sum of its parts, our members and our staff. We all need to be aware of how CMA is viewed, how doctors view the CMA. I can tell you that in my area of Los Angeles, the San Fernando Valley, the majority of physicians are not members and are clueless about how very much we do for our doctors and how we protect the practice and profession of medicine and, as a result, patient care. As leaders of this organization, we need to do a far better job of communicating to our fellow physicians the importance of membership, the accomplishments of the organization, and the vital necessity of the CMA. In branding, consistency is the name of the game. Every contact that each of you has, a CMA leader has, is critical. You get one chance to represent CMA with every patient, legislator, staff member, and fellow physician whom we encounter. We are each a touch point for CMA. I want to remind you, although you all well know, that this organization is exceedingly effective. We defeated Prop 46, which would have changed the professional liability landscape in this state. We passed the tobacco tax, Prop 56, and improved Medi-Cal payment rates. We stopped the theft of those funds by the governor. We stop bad legislation every single year, and we work hard to ensure good legislation that benefits patients gets passed. We stopped the takeover of the Tulare medical staff. Your CMA has strength and incredible, powerful clout. We bring to the forefront physician voices every single day, and we empower you. Ensuring the continuation of that successful record this year, we will once again begin a long-term strategic planning process to ensure our continuing and future achievements. My goal then, this year, as your president, is to be the most effective spokesman that I can be, to communicate your concerns, your desires, your needs, your hopes for a professionally satisfying medical practice, for effective patient care, and for ensuring that each new legislative or administrative remedy does not further diminish the practice of medicine and the profession that we have entered, aspiring to do our best for the patients we care for. I will sing the praises of my fellow physicians, and I will demonstrate to each and every one of you that this organization, the voice of physicians in this state, our CMA brand, has strength, effectiveness, power, and influence. And when necessary, we will deploy all those assets to defend medical practice in California. I, along with your executive committee and your board, will lead the charge and hope that each one of you will join us in any and every way that you can. Once again, thank you all so much for this exceptional opportunity for this capstone of my medical career.
Mrs. Felicia Aizuss, to the lower stage, please. Felicia Aizuss calling. Lower podium, please.
151.
151.
Thank you, Dr. Aizuss. With you at the helm, I am looking forward to 2019. Give it up for Dr. David Aizuss.